Shalom, shalom, everyone. Today I'm just going to share a couple of documents or proof that the ancient Israelites were what they call black today, colored people, African American. Those are all bywords, of course. But that's how they kept us hidden with those names, bywords. That is mentioned in Deuteronomy 28 about how they would give us bywords. So, anyways, let me start with this article right here. And I may have to get out of this to get to the actual document. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to start at the top. Excuse me, I want to make sure my door is locked. You all, excuse me. Okay, I'm safe. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top. And I guess this is Syria or Syria, Syria or Syria, Syria or Syria. That's weird. Anyway, so before I start reading this part of the uh, history on Israel and Judah, I probably have went over this particular document maybe 3 times. So it takes a little patience and really concentration on the penmanship and the writing of the person that documented this book, because his S looked like an F, so I get confused. So bear with me. I was going to read a little more on here, but I said no, because I'll probably fumbling all over the place. So I just stick with this little short part I have. And this is coming from a book called, I'm getting ready to get it now. I should have had it open. A Geographical Description of the Four Parts of the World by Richard Blome, and also by another. There was 2 individuals on this particular book. But anyways, that is the title of it. You can pick this book up with a reasonable price. I purchased it for like $60, and it's on AB eBooks. And I buy most of my books from this company. What they do is they make them out of the country. I think it's in India. So what they do is they have the actual book, and what they do, they scan the page, and they make it very clear that it says a leather binding on spine, and then it goes on to say that each page is checked manually before printing, as the print-on-demand book is reprint from a very old book. It says there can be some missing or flaw pages, but we always try to make the book as complete as possible. Okay, so then it goes on to say, and this book was published in, the one I received was published in 1935, I think. Yeah, 1935. And then it says no changes have been made to the original text. This is not a retype or an ORC reprint. Illustrated index. It says, in other words, they didn't reprint it. They're just taking it from the actual old book, and they're just scanning the pages, and then they create a book. And there's a high demand on this too, and it's like $45.92, and it's 670 page, I think it is. Is it 670 page? I think it is. I think it says 670 page. But anyways, again, you can go on ABE Books and get this book, and many other books that they have, that eBay and Amazon and some other places, like also Walgreen. But anyway, theirs are really high, especially Amazon. So anyways, let me go ahead and start. This says, when God had promised it, mean the land, to Abraham and his posterity, it was called the land of promise. But when it fell into the hands of the Hebrews after their return from Egypt, and that they had divided it by tribes, it took the name of the lands of the Hebrews, under which it was governed by prophets, judges, and kings. But under their king, it was soon divided into 2 realms, which they call Judah and Israel, Israel. Under the Roman, it was only known by the name of Judea or Palestine of Judea, because that the tribe of Judah was always the most powerful of the tribes and the kingdoms of Judah, the most noble and preserved itself longer than that of the house of Israel, of Palestine, because the Philistine, which possessed a part of the maritime coast of Judea, were powerful and they were well known to strangers. It says, after the death of our Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach, or who the world called Jesus Christ, all this country was called the land, the Holy Land. The people which anciently possessed this country were Jews. It says ancient, talking about the ancient people, how they looked. The ancient possessed this country were the Jews, being of middle stature, strong of body, of a black complexion, with Google eyes. This is how they describe them as the ancient Hebrews. Okay, that's one document, and that came out the book I just mentioned. The next document I'm going to show you is a memorandum, and this memorandum is dated. It's a foreign relations. Let's go back up. Anyways, it's a foreign. It's a document of the state of um, what it says. I don't have the top of it, but anyways, it says a foreign relation, 1976, volume E5 documented on Africa, 1969 to 1972. Um, it goes on to say this particular document was written January 28th, 1969. It says memorandum, the White House, Washington, memorandum for the president from Henry K.A. Kissinger. The subject is U.S. option and by foreign relief. Remember, there was a war going on back in the 60s among the Igbos. So I'm going to go down here. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It says, by 3,000 square miles, 4 to 6 million. Colonel Ajuku, 35, British trained elsewhere. It says Erwile, I don't know what that is. Playboy presides over the popular support and military morals of a people convinced that the defeat means extinction. So saying that the Igbos, um, their belief and their attitude when they're fighting in some war is that if they don't win, then they're going to be extinct. So it's like they had no choice but to fight or die or be annihilated. Means extinction. It says the Igbos are the wandering Jews of the West Africa. They're going to describe them. It says gifted, aggressive, westernized at best, envied and resented, but most despised by the mass of their neighbors in the Federation. They have fought well by African standards against heavy odds. Their cynical public relations use of the starvation has been brilliant. So this is a whole article or a whole write up. Not even write up. They were pretty much just watching them, like they always watch us and document us. So it's documenting on the Igbo. So you can go read this article. And I think if you pull up this title here, it'll bring it up. No, it's just a video here, but I'm not going to try that video. So that's another document showing that the same people that I showed you in this geographic description in ancient time, these are the offspring of those people. We are the offspring because we came from West Africa during the transatlantic slave trade. But I'm not trying to get into all of that. I just want to show you a couple of articles I just want to share with you a couple of articles that I was looking at today. Now I also want to look at Wikipedia. Wikipedia. So let me share that with you. And this says the history of the Jews in Africa. It talks about the African Jewish community. This is mostly like Northern Africa, I think. It talks about the Sephardi Jews, the Mizrahi Jews, the Negro of North Africa, the Morocco, Algeria, Libya, and Sudan, and Egypt, and South Africa, and so forth. So you can go here yourself and find this, and just look at the different uh, um, Jewish communities, and then they give a little background about their community. But this is what I want to look at. It says the ancient communities. So they made a distinction between the history of the Jews in Africa. This is more like northern, like northern northeast Africa, not Middle East. Middle East is a relatively new name, so it's not Middle East. Middle East is not an ancient name. Middle East is Northeast Africa, and we know that that was created when when they created the Suez Canal in November of 1869, and they coined Northeast Africa into Middle East. So that's just something that was created by man. And then brings me back to the scripture when the Most High said, "Do not part his land," that he was going to come back and judge those who parted his land. That's in Joel. So, anyways, let me go to this part where it says the ancient community. So this is the ancient community. It says the most ancient communities of Africa Jews are the Ethiopian, West Africa Ethiopians. You saw the Ethiopians, the Beta Israel, known as Ethiopia. Jews are the Jewish community that lived for centuries in the areas of Kingdom of Aksum and the Ethiopian Empire, which is currently divided between the modern day Amhara and Tigray region of Ethiopia and most of the Beta Israel community immigration of Israel. So these are the. Now I'm not trying to say that the the one I just shown you, the northeast Africa. I just want to. The reason I came down to ancient because in the book Geographic Description that was talking about the ancient Israel and how they look. And when I mean it looked, I mean we're all the same people, just scattered. But for some reason, I just wanted to go down to ancient communities, the ancient community. And probably mainly too so is because most of us, if we did our DNA, would be from West Africa. Find a lot of our from West Africa. Some a lot in North Africa too, Morocco and all the other places. But anyways, it says West Africa, Timbuktu, Gao, says the Gao, Shanghai Empire. It says the Sahelian Jews, historically known as Jews of the Balad al Sudan, describe West African Jewish communities connected to known Jewish communities who migrated to the West Africa as merchants that traded opportunities. Various historical records that state that one time they were present in Ghana. Now, I also have a book. Oh, I've been buying a lot of books. I have a book I just purchased from the ABE book. Slow down, Ernestine. ABE book. It's called the Bantu. Hold on. It's by the same. Come out of India, and this really came fast. And it's also a book that was scanned from the original, and the book is beautiful. Notes. I mean, everything's just so clearly written. So when they scanned it very well. It's called The Soul of the Bantu. A really good book, you all. Really good book. I think I paid like $50 for this. Then I also purchased a book called The Newer Religion, and they're also um, are Israelites. And in this book, you all, it has two books. One, The Newer People, and then you have a second called The Newer Religion. On the Newer Religion, oh my goodness, when you read this and read about their culture and stuff, it's if you live in the old times of ancient Israel. And this is what the author said. The three authors said, plus those who was there. You know how they go there and they just kind of like watch their culture and document it and all this stuff. They were saying the same thing, that they felt like they was in the ancient world of God's chosen people. But anyway, that's a good book too. It's called Newer Religion, um, and it's Evans Pritchett. That's who wrote the book. So I got that one too. I have another one on the way, um, but I'm going to slow down right now because I want to stick with this. But I'm just telling you some books that you may want to go and search and see if you want to find those on ABE book because they're really cheap. They're reasonable. So for the Sahalan, it's going on the sale. I already read that. And then you have the Sephardi Jews here. You have the Mizrahi. Okay, it's about the same ones. It's the same. You have the Spanish Jews here, the Portuguese Jews. The Spanish and Portuguese Jews, also called Western Sephardim, Iberian Jews, or Peninsular Jews, are the distinctive subgroup of Sephardi Jews who are largely descended from Jews who lived as new Christians in Iberia Peninsula during the century following the process of explosion. Yeah, it's talking about the Portuguese Jews. And then you have, I don't know who these are. I guess there's some Germanic Jews. And the reason you find us all over the place because we migrated. We're also was captivities and wars that sent us out to all these other areas. And I believe that the Bantu migration, I believe that we scattered in all these other places too, all these places. So it's not like, and I have to remember too that because we mix so much and because of the migrations and everything, it's like you're going to find us with different shades, different phenotypes because we mixed. So you can't just look at a person and they look white and you say, "Oh, he's Esau." By the way, Esau was not a white man. They came from they call Ido, that's in West Africa. They call them the red people. So I'm not gonna go there. I did a video on that one too about Esau. So anyway, you all, I thought I would just share that. But one last little picture I want to show, talking about the Hebrews, talking about the Negroes, because that's what they were, Negroes. They haven't changed the bloodline. They're still Negroes, what they call Negroes today. Like I said, it's just a byword. Negro is a byword. African American is a byword. Black is a byword. Color is a byword. Um, so, and again, that was foretold and prophesied that we would be called bywords. So I'm going to show you this last picture. It's a couple of pictures here. It's going to be on here, but let me this is right here. So we see here different pictures of the ancient Israelites. Here you have them over here. And then down here, some more pictures, image of the true Israelites. And then you have here was the Syrian relief, Hebrew captivity. And right next to that was the all Mesopotamia. They were giants. The Nubians were giants. They were tall men. And to this day, their offspring is still tall. You go to Africa, especially what they call the Nilotic tribes. They are very, very tall and thin. So here's right down here. Look here. Look like he's there. I'm getting to get ready to slay him right here, cut his head off or something. And then you have this Iraq. This is print Iraq, whatever that is. They were all dark skinned people. They're all melanated people. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that here. This is what I wanted you to look at here. This is how they look. I was listening to a Caucasian guy that was talking about the ancient history of the Israelites, and he was saying how they had hair like corn. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I never thought of that. And look at their hair right here. They had hair like corn, and look, their beard doesn't look like this cornstalk, little corn. Of course, cornrows. I guess maybe that's why we call it cornrows. Oh, wow, that's something to think about. But anyways, I just wanted to share that. I'm going to go ahead and let you all go and say shalom and have a blessed and prosperous evening.